What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to talk about a topic that continues to come up, right? And that is, has LeBron James sold out? And I don't know, and most people don't know, but I do think that. All right, first I want to say, like, coming from where LeBron James has came from, like when you have somebody that is young, like LeBron James was when he first hit the scene. Um, Even before LeBron James, like while LeBron James was in high school, I think the the grooming process, like, or not just the grooming process, but the process to take control of LeBron started in high school. And even before, I think when you're so young, and these big businesses like Nike and the NBA and all these sponsors come into your life, and they give you money and things that you didn't have. I think that it's easier to manipulate and mold a young person. And with LeBron James coming from humble beginnings like he did, you know, just him and his mother, and like I said, they didn't have a lot. I just think that it was like the perfect storm to manipulate LeBron James or mold him and put people in his life, like what they called handlers, to kind of steer him in a direction that they wanted him to go in. So I just wanted to get that out there before I want to look at this. Well, play the audio from this guy this bishop who said that LeBron James has sold his soul. But a lot of times, I think that his situation dictated that he really didn't have any defense against somebody like, like, or these big powerful businesses and entities. And also coming from a single parent household. If you look at most of the other superstars or the faces of the league who came before LeBron James, most of those guys came from two-parent households, right? Meaning they had their father and their mother in their life. When you think about like Magic Johnson, came from a two-parent household. Kareem, two-parent household, where his father was very, very impactful in his life. Same thing with Magic. Although Bird, Bird and his father, Bird admired his father, and his father, deleted himself while Bird was still young. But Bird, he still had his father in his life for a good portion of his life. Kobe come from a two-parent household. Everybody knows that Kobe was, his father was also a professional basketball player. So Kobe's father kind of probably hipped him to some of the things that can go on to with the NBA and the NBA life, right? So, but LeBron James did not have that that luxury. He came from a two-parent household, and so he was like ripe for the pickings. Now, that's not to say just because he came from the background that he came from that he had sold his soul or sold out. But I'm going to play this audio from this guy, this bishop, speaking about LeBron James, and then I'm gonna add my commentary to it. So here we go. Here's the commentary with this bishop speaking about LeBron James.
Going to be controlled.
And he won an Oscar.
He won an. That's it. You see, and now you got this counterfeit like LeBron James, who has that Boulay logo tattooed on his chest. LeBron James has that Boulay tattooed on his chest.
What's the tattoo?
Yeah,
what
the Boulay tattoo. If you go to Google Images and type in LeBron James chest tattoo, LeBron James chest tattoo, or that Boulay, BOUL', tattooed on the chest of LeBron James. Half male, half female, half lion with breast, with his right paw on an urn. You are here. They keep the ashes of.
You're actually right.
That's it. You see? So LeBron.
I'm gonna stop it right there real quick. So I did look up that boule tattoo, right? And the thing I want to say about tattoos, I don't have any tattoos, but the thing I want to say about tattoos is people who get tattoos, they don't just get tattoos because, most people don't get tattoos. Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's but most people get tattoos because tattoos have a certain meaning to them, right? And so that's what I was thinking about. I was like, well, why would LeBron James get this tattoo? It must have some type of meaning to him. Like some guys get the teardrops on their face, or some people may get like the birthday or the name of somebody who has been significant of their life in their life, like their parents or their one of their kids or something like that. So I would like to know, like if I had an opportunity to ask LeBron James, like, what is the significance of that tattoo? And that's a odd tattoo to get on you. Like that boule. Look up that boule. I did have a picture of it. I didn't put it on here, but yeah, I had a picture of this boule on LeBron's chest. But that's odd to get something, and so most likely that tattoo does have some significance to it.
LeBron James is a Prince Hall Mason, has that boule tattoo on his chest. It's amazing. I know. And so, and I'm going to say this: when LeBron retires, his number would be called 2. Okay, this is how the deep state, he thinks that he's just going to retire, and that's why he doesn't want to retire. And so that tattoo is tattooed on LeBron's chest. The former NBA player Dwayne Wade.
Correct. Oh,
The
he's
Miami,
messed up.
Yeah, messed up. His son Zion is now called Zaya. Okay, this is how these black folk do, not just black people, but people within the system, to go to the next level.
All right, so now he can ready to get into Dwayne Wade, right? But I just wanted to say that now the fact that this guy is making these statements, I think maybe it may work in LeBron James' favor, and I say that because of this. When when you put statements like this out, that may discourage like anybody who like if LeBron James, for instance, was a part of some type of organization or something like that, and you put these statements out there, then that means that this would right here will put everybody on high alert. So if this was true and something was to happen to LeBron James or somebody in LeBron James in his immediate circle, that would, people would be like, oh yeah, they wouldn't go for, they on the lookout for this. So maybe this type of information coming out there for LeBron James works in his favor. So that's what I had to say about that part. But I do have a second part of this interview that I want to play. Okay, so now here's the second part of the audio that I want to play with this Bishop guy speaking on LeBron James.
LeBron James, let me tell you something about LeBron. We're talking about Antarctica, the Cell of the Fallen Angels. No other team in the NBA wants him. His time is up. I can't wait to see these shorts. His time is up. No team wants him. He's got one more year. And when he retires, his number would be called to either him, his wife, his daughter, or one of his sons. Somebody has to be sacrificed because we allowed you, LeBron, to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm telling you how these deep state devils think. They want blood. Okay? We gave you what you want. You're the greatest scorer in NBA history. We need someone to be liquidated. His number will be called. And you got a lot of listeners. Oh, you're saying he's going to die? I'm not saying he's going to die like Kobe.
Something's about to come up.
Be called. You see, anyone on that, especially the rappers. We talked about this the first time I was on your power show. To go higher into the rap industry, you have to be butt broken, like you say, in humiliation. Okay, and so they're butt broken. That's the system. And if you don't want to give in, they're trying to destroy you. But LeBron James. So let me say this, and we're going to end it here today. LeBron James' days are numbered. His days are numbered.
All right, so I do think that when you're dealing with big businesses, right? And I always say this about LeBron James, and it kind of points to like how like maybe I don't get the impression that LeBron James understanding like what he's dealing with as far as like big businesses. Now I'm not saying that they're going to ask for a sacrifice or anything like that, but I do think that when you're dealing with these big powerful companies and stuff like that, they want to feel like they got their like everything out of you that there was to get. And that's why I always talk about like Michael Jordan and like how he played the game, his passion for the game. Like he eat, sleep, and drink basketball. And the fans love Michael Jordan, and it shows because of his passion for the game and the way he played the game. Same thing with Kobe, like all Bird, like they had fan bases who loved them. And so if you was sponsoring or supporting any of these guys, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, you felt like you got everything out of them that you could get out of them because they played like, like basketball was their passion, was their life. Even like with somebody like a Tom Brady, so they gave everything to the sport. But LeBron's situation is different because they came into his life when he was early. I mean, you came into his life early when he was young, and they gave him right away everything right away off the top. I don't think he worked as hard as all those other guys. And that's the thing, they want everything, man. Like these big companies, they want you. And that's why I said, what was it? Isaiah Thomas and Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, all those guys retired early. I mean, not early, but they played like in between 12 and 15 years. Because by the time they finished playing, they was broke down. They had gave basketball everything, all they had. But LeBron James, and I believe it's more to it than just taking care of your body. But LeBron James is retiring, and he don't look any worse for the wear. He made it look like he damn near coasted through his career, right? And so he also played in an era where ratings went down, ticket sales went down, viewership went down. So I don't, I'm not saying that somebody in his family, they're going to make a sacrifice or something like that. I don't know about that, but I do think that these companies want everything, and they don't want to feel like they didn't get the max out of you that they could, right? And so and I would hope that this guy putting this type of information out there will work in LeBron James's favor, but I do think that ain't no free rides, basically. Ain't no free rides. I do believe that, but I don't think about, like sacrifices and stuff like that. I just think that LeBron James basically didn't give everything he had. And I think that, he might suffer some type of financial, they might want that money back or something like that. But other than that, I hope nothing else happens to, nothing serious happens to LeBron. So that's my take on it. I want to know how y'all feel about, this situation. Like, has LeBron sold out? And if he did sell out, what's going to be the price? Like, do he get to ride off into the sunset, start a new league and just do his own thing? If you believe that will be the outcome, then let me know. If not, just still leave a comment. But I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.